Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome. My name is Loretta. In this video I am making a very simple dinner bacon wrapped chicken thighs with roasted Brussels sprouts and mashed potatoes. This meal was quite easy to make. I purchased the chicken thighs from my discount grocery store. There were 8 in a pack for under $10. The potatoes, I believe the bag was $4.99 or $5.99 at Walmart. And I got quite a few potatoes in there. The Brussels sprouts were a little bit more. I got this entire bag for between $3 and $4. Sometimes they can be quite expensive if they're not on sale, but it is one of my favorite vegetables, and I love roasting them in the oven with just some simple salt and pepper and butter. So I'm just getting started here and slicing up my Brussels sprouts. I sometimes take off the top layer depending on if it's a little bit bruised or not, and I always just cut off the tips and then I give them a rinse. Next, I am cutting up my potatoes. These are russet potatoes, and I'm going to cut them up into small pieces. I find that this is the best for mashing. I can just put them into a pot of boiling water, salted boiling water, and they are quite easy to mash once they are in these small pieces. So this is just some cold water, and I am putting them in there. I'm going to bring the water to a boil and then turn it down to about medium-high heat. I'm crushing up some garlic. Garlic mashed potatoes are the best if you are a fan of garlic. And all I do is just peel the skin and cut off the ends and just throw the whole clove in there. And I decided that one was not enough, so I went back to my fridge and picked up another one, and I'm just crushing that like the first one, cutting off the ends and throwing it in. The garlic will infuse into the potatoes. It will become nice and soft, and then while I'm mashing the potatoes, I just mash up the garlic all in there. Thyme is one of my favorite herbs. I find it to be so flavorful and works with so many different dishes. So here I'm just breaking off all the little which does take quite a bit of time, but it is totally worth it in the end. And I am going to put the thyme on my chicken. Sometimes I also put it in my mashed potatoes at the end, or I'll sprinkle it over my veggies. My Brussels sprouts have been washed and drained. I use avocado oil for a lot of my cooking because it has a high smoking point, and I'm going to be roasting these in the oven on about 425, 430. I just throw some avocado oil in there and then add salt, and I add some pepper as well. Sometimes I will add garlic powder and onion powder, and it depends on what I am having. If I'm eating things that have a lot of garlic in them, then I will sometimes skip this step, like my garlic mashed potatoes, but either way, I decided to add more because I love garlic. So I got some onion powder and garlic powder from my pantry and just going to sprinkle those on and then mix all that together so that the Brussels sprouts get coated in the oil and spices. The trick to getting the golden brown Brussels sprouts is I will lay them down on a baking sheet with the flat side down. And I usually roast them for about 15 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer if I want them to be a little bit crispier. And just turn them over, flat side down. I don't know if that makes a huge difference. I've never cooked them any other way, so that is what I've always done, so that is what I will continue to do. Just checking on my potatoes. Looks like they do need a little bit more time, so I'm going to let them boil. Working on my chicken next. No matter how I cook my meat, I always season with salt and pepper. Sometimes I will put other seasonings. I have a jerk seasoning that I love to put on chicken, but the bacon has quite a bit of flavor, so I don't feel like I need to add extra flavor like jerk, because jerk does have a strong taste. So I normally would put that on chicken wings. I have put it on chicken thighs before, but mostly for chicken wings. And that wonderful thyme, I'm just going to put that right on there. If you've never used thyme, I highly recommend it. This summer, I'm going to be growing my own thyme. For now, I do buy it at the grocery store. But this summer, I'm definitely going to be growing that. I would also like to get a dehydrator, so once I have grown all my thyme, I can dehydrate it and save it, but we'll see if I can fit something like that into my kitchen. There's only so many things you can fit in a kitchen, in a small kitchen. So now I'm just taking my bacon. I thought that I had thought out 2 pieces, but I thought out 3 pieces. So I just decided to rip one of the pieces in half and add an extra half piece to each chicken thigh. Just finished wrapping them there, and all you do is just wrap it around, and the side that has the ends of the bacon, that's the side that I put down into my roasting pan. I cooked this chicken at 430 for 30 minutes. I love that little vintage corral dish. I scored that at a thrift store for $2. Just putting my chicken into the oven. And I'm going to throw the chicken in first before the Brussels sprouts, because that takes about double the time. So I don't need to put the Brussels sprouts in quite yet. If you are looking to save money, cooking at home is the best thing that you can do. You will spend dollars on a meal compared to eating takeout. Eating at a restaurant obviously is quite expensive, but I find even eating takeout these days is quite expensive. $20, $25, $30 sometimes, depending on where you go, of course, but it's just becoming a little bit too expensive for me. So this year I'm working on not getting takeout and cooking at home every meal. Now, I know that this looks like a lot of butter, and that's because it is, because I love butter. So I use a lot of it. I use a lot of butter in my cooking, and salt. Butter and salt add flavor to everything. So unless you are vegan, obviously, but then you probably are not watching my channel because I cook meat. But just add butter and not margarine. Margarine is not butter. Margarine is oils and other ingredients that I cannot even pronounce. It's not real, and it's not tasty. Real butter is. And I don't recommend using margarine just because I think the taste is awful. And I do believe that it is very bad for you. I don't necessarily believe that butter is terrible for anyone. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. But it is a real product. And margarine is not. So just giving them a little taste. See if it needs anything more. And I am adding salt. I find with the garlic, I don't have to add as much butter and salt. I used to add way more butter than that and way more salt, but the garlic really helps not to add as much salt. My Brussels sprouts are ready to go in. I did have leftovers for this meal. That is quite a bit of Brussels sprouts and mashed potatoes, and I think I had enough mashed and sprouts for the next 3 meals. And I just cooked another protein with it, and I stretched the chicken out over 2 meals. I just had 1 chicken thigh. Like I said earlier, I wasn't as hungry, so I just had 1 chicken thigh. And it looks like everything is ready. It smells so good. I wish that you can smell it. It is quite hot, as you can see the grease just popping up there. And there we go, we got that nice golden brown on the bottom. I am going to be putting more butter on them afterwards, and just a little bit more salt as well. Trying to move that out of the way so I don't burn myself. Okay, I'm just grabbing my Brussels sprouts. They're nice and hot. They have a nice brown on them. The leaves on the outside, on the other side, will be a little bit crispy. Absolutely love Brussels sprouts. If you're not a fan of them, try roasting them. I used to eat them as a kid boiled with no seasoning. That's how we ate growing up. But if you try them a different way with oil or butter, salt and pepper, and some other seasonings, they are very, very delicious. And there we go. I have chicken thighs wrapped in bacon with Brussels sprouts. This meal in total probably cost me maybe $2 to $3. So much more satisfying than getting takeout. Homemade. I know exactly what's in it because I made it myself. Very satisfying meal. Moving forward, I will be making more cooking videos on just the simple things that I make to save money, and I will be posting them. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please consider subscribing if you would like to see more of these videos. I put a little bit of sour cream on the top of my mashed potatoes as well because I had some in the fridge. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.